Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Canopus #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we see on the cover here, it's Canopus #1 by Scout Comics, written by Dave Chisholm. So I'm not gonna lie, though, I picked this book up just because last week, I guess, all 6 issues came out. They released the trade, and I've never really read any Scout comics, so this one seemed the most interesting out of all of them. And I figured, let's check it out. Let's see if it's worth buying the trade that just came out. So we see this woman here. She wakes up on a distant planet in the middle of nowhere in space. And she doesn't know who she is or why she got here. Although when she asks, "Whoa, how did I get here?" her suit answers back. So she does realize because of her suit that okay, she's got like a base, and the base is here, and it's the suit says that she is 309.8 light years from Earth. She does go back to her little base ship here, and when she gets there, she's like, "Whoa, that many years from Earth!" And when she says Earth, she sees fire. She kind of explores around the ship, and this was interesting. I don't know if this is a thing like that's going to come back later, but her eyes are green and red. I was like, whoa, that's weird. I don't know if that's an artistic choice or if like she's a robot or something. It's very weird because she can't remember who she is, and she doesn't remember what the mission was or how she even got here or anything. It's interesting when she gets on the ship's like, oh, hey, Dr. Helen. And so we get like, oh, okay, her name is Dr. Helen Sterling. And just because the ship knows, but the ship doesn't remember, what was going on, why we're here. Like, it just knows, I need parts because she says like run a diagnostic. Are we ready for launch? It's like, no, we need these certain things to get back to Earth. Basically, they need some silicate and some titanium. As she's like having the computer run where that is, this little guy comes out of nowhere, and he just starts talking to her. He's like, "Oh, the printer's empty, huh?" And she freaks the fuck out. And then we find out, oh, she's actually got like a weapon on her suit, which I think these are more of they're not so much blasters, but they're like boosters. So I think they're like a makeshift weapon for her. Basically, the thing's like, hey, I'm not dangerous. We know each other. My name is Arthur. You're my mom. She's like, Mom, how can I be the mom of a robot? And she basically just like, okay, I guess I'm losing my mind. And basically, the computer says, hey, I just figured out a little path for you to find where the silicate and titanium are that you need. So here you go. And she decides to go. While they're walking, Arthur falls into I guess he's like jumping, and he lands, but the dirt gives way, and he lands into a giant pit of like stuffed animals. And when she goes down there, she finds a doll that belonged to her. So she picks it up and then has this big memory of the doll, and the doll's name is Oliver, and it belonged to her when she was a kid. And then we get this history of her dad being an astronaut, and he was one of the team members of the first astronauts that went to terraform Mars, and they were on a one-way mission, so they kind of never came back. And like how that like basically made her super angry as she grew up that her dad left. And then a weird thing happens where she's looking at this doll, and then they turn around and all the other dolls fly in to make a giant mecha doll or whatever. Like, so she fires up her boosters to get out of there and is able to escape pretty much unscathed. But she still has like, what the fuck was that? Like, why were the dolls there? Why was Oliver there? And then as she's talking about Earth again, she has another flashback of fire, and she's like, something's wrong. Basically, I'm having flashes of Earth covered in fire. We need to get back there as soon as possible. I don't understand like why I'm here or any of that stuff, and I don't understand like why I just had like a flashback of my dad and why those dolls were there. And while they're walking, she keeps asking like, "Are you sure there's no people here, computer? Like it seems like obviously there was dolls and shit. There's no other life forms." And the computer's like, "No, no other life forms." And then they walk, following the map that the computer gave them. They walk into this area that's obviously intelligently made. And the further they walk in, all of a sudden these like weird teeth plants come out and attack them. And I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to spoil too much else in the comic. That was Canopus #1. It was an interesting book. It's definitely like a mystery. Like, why is she there? How did she get there? She doesn't remember being an astronaut. She remembers her dad being an astronaut. But obviously, there's some weird stuff going on. Those stuffed animals are there. Why is she there by herself? The ship knows about her. Who is this kid, Arthur? She's his mom, but he's not human, and she doesn't seem like a robotics engineer or something. And then the end of this book is pretty like cliffhangery, like for sure. So I hope the writing really later on will explain everything fully and really wrap it up nicely. But I would definitely check out the trade from this. Yeah, I would give this one like a 3.5. It's pretty strong for a first single issue. Just a cool sci-fi book overall. I enjoyed this one a lot. So check that one out if it interests you at all. That being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.